Hello and welcome back to a Kooky Corner of YouTube. We're on my wobbly desk today. I don't mean the desk is actually wobbly, I mean my camera, which is positioned above the desk, is wobbly. This is because I am, let's be honest and true here, my main desk is so messy. It's so messy, people. There is not a chance in heck that I could do anything on it. Also, the light from this window is a lot better than the one in the middle of the room, which is where my other desk is. And so we're working from here. Now, that means I have Mr. Wobbly Woo. Look, here we go. Woo! Yeah, no, we don't want that. So let's stop that for a minute. Because what we're going to do today is... Stop it. Stop it. Okay, good. And what we're going to do today is flower loom flowers. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. You probably may have seen them at some point. But this is a flower loom. And basically you can use this for yarn, or in my case I'm going to use some raffia to make some little flower decorations, either to go on your tree. You could use them as to put on little dowels as a standing decoration to go in a pot, or what I'm going to use mine for this year is for decorations, bows to go on your presents. It's ideal, and they're really quite quick to do. So you need a flower loom. You will generally get a kit. In that kit you will get your loom, you will get a set of instructions, which I have lost. But you will get a set of instructions, more than likely. You will get a little plastic needle, which is useful for the middle part of your flower, which I will show you soon. And you will get this hook. This lovely hook is used for removing the petals from the loom to get them off the loom, basically. I can't use words in December. I have lost the use of the English language. Yeah, but apart from that, let me just show you and all will become clear. So first of all, what you're going to need is some yarn or some raffia. Because I'm making presents, I'm going to use some raffia. Also, the raffia tends to hold its shape, obviously, much more than yarn would. If you want a nice little floppy woolly brooch, that's all good and well. I would like my decorations to match my wrapping, which is, I'm going to sort of go around my presents with this and then have a little bow to finish it off, because I'm feeling extra. So let's do that. Back to wobbly cam. So yes, you will notice, as I said at the bottom, ooh, my little peg's fallen out. Hold on, they do remove, but some of them are quite tight. Just slots in there like that. Okay, you will notice that there are, apart from this little knobby thing at the front there are 12 pegs in your flower loom. Well, they are in the one that I've got anyway, and I think that's a really good analogy for a clock. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you've got 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. First things first, what we need to do is to make a slip knot in our raffia. It's not as easy in raffia as it is in wool, but it's not like rocket science to do it. So literally tighten that up so you've got a nice, firm, secure-ish raffia end. With the long end, we're going to go up and we're going to go to 12 o'clock and wrap it round. Then we're going to come down to 6 o'clock and wrap it around there. Then we're going to go up to 1 o'clock. Wait a minute, I did it the wrong way. 1 o'clock, and then back down to 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I can't even think. 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And we've done one full round and all those pegs are filled with petal. Yes. So far, so good. You can do as many rounds as you'd like. A lot of people, when they do yarn ones, they'll do 3, going round the whole clock 3 times. Because I've got raffia and because I don't want it to be too thick and bulky, I'm just going to do this one twice. We'll do it anyway and see what it looks like. So we finished off there at 6 o'clock, yeah. So we're going 5 o'clock, I apologise. So we're back up to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, even apologise, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I sound a bit mad, don't I? 3 o'clock. That's nothing new, you say. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then we're back to the beginning. Now, I'm going to come down back to the front where I started. And I'm just going to, wait a minute, I'm going to trim this off. And I'm going to kind of wrap it around that peg just to hold it in place. So now you can see on each of these little pegs, if I separate them out, you've got 2 goes around. As I say, with yarn you probably want to do 3 times around your clock. But for me, this is going to do, and because I don't want that to come off, I'm just going to use this peg here, handy peg, just to hold that together to that one that's more fingers and thumbs today, just to keep that together. Now you can do a length of yarn or raffia in the same colour, or if you want to be fancy, and I'm going to be fancy, I'm going to do a contrasting colour. So this is where my red comes in. So you need to have about probably 3 feet of this colour to measure off about 3 feet. This is where your handy dandy little plastic needle comes in. So I'll just thread that there. Okay, so starting, we're going to go up in between the pegs and in between the petals. You can see the petals on either side of that, can't you? There. She says, can't you? And you're not actually seeing it, but yeah, there it is. Get the camera in place, woman. Okay, so there we have it. The 2 petals, and we're coming up from the bottom in between that little space there. And then we're going exactly opposite to the other side and coming down. Okay. Now we need to pull that a little bit tighter because I've got an awful lot of my raffia left at this side. And we don't need that much. We might need that much for the middles of it. So bringing that up there. So now from the bottom, I'm coming up in between those 2 petals there, pulling it through. Actually, I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? Let's take that back out again. Forgot what I was doing. Okay, so we've done that first bit. We're going up this one at the bottom here. Okay, so we're going up this one at the bottom. This is to hold your flower petals in place. So we're going back down to the opposite side, in between those petals. Back down to the opposite side, pull it through, and down like that. So now we've got that one and that one done. We're coming up in between, not the petals at the minute, in between those 2 there. I'm going to go up, through again. I'm getting everything involved here. There we go. Directly opposite that is this bit here. Move my big hand out of the way, you can see. And I'm going to pull through. Try not to get everything else involved in it on my desk. That would be a disaster. Okay, pull it tight. So now we're coming through this gap here, pulling it through. I think you're getting the gist of this now. Straight exactly opposite, going down in between those two petals. Pull it tight. Now we come to this one here at this side. Needle coming up in between the petals and then going back down in between the opposite side. You are securing the petals in place for when eventually this flower comes off its loom. Okay. Another 2 to go, so we've got one there, or is this the last one? This could be the last one for this bit. So come up there and going exactly opposite with our needle. This gets easier when you've got a little less raffia to dangle around with. Trust me, I have made hundreds of these, and it's always when you're on camera, isn't it? The pressure to do it right and everything goes wrong. It generally does for me. I don't know how it is for you. If you ever want to show somebody something, it's always a little harder. So now we have got, I'll remove that now from there. I don't need that anymore, I don't think. We have got all of our petals secure. So what we want to do now, we've come back down to the middle. We're going to go up through the middle of each of the petals. If you can see here, I'm going up through the middle of that one, and going back over to this one and going down through the middle of that one. Voila. Then the next one up through the middle and then down through the opposing side middle of the petal at that side. I think you know how the rest of this goes. Follow along with me. I hope you're all sorted and ready for whatever celebration that you have at this time of year. I am never sorted and ready for any occasion at all ever that happens in my life, but that's just the way I roll. I try to be. I don't know if you follow astrology, but I'm a Virgo, and I do like order. You don't laugh. I like order, and I like to have things in place and everything in its place and a place for everything and all that kind of jazz. Do I ever get to that stage? Well, occasionally you can have a tidy and then everything gets sorted out. And then the next minute, it's all gone to heck again. But that's the way of life, isn't it? So eventually, after all this threading in between the middles of the petals, we should now have what vaguely looks at the minute like a flower with a centre. Okay, and each one of the in-betweens and each one of the petals should have been secured now by your raffia. And that's what it looks like. So I'm going to flip it over, and this end here that was loose, I am literally just going to knot it in place. I'm going to do a double knot, because after all that threading, we don't want our flower to fall apart, do we? No, we don't. Now, here comes the interesting part. This hook and these grooves are meant to be helpful in order to get your flower off of the loom. When you use yarn, it's an awful lot easier because the yarn is a little more flexible than your raffia is. So you just have to be a little careful. Otherwise, you might end up with a jab that you don't want. So literally we're just, see the little groove? My hook fits into that groove. It goes underneath those raffia petals and we just gently ease it off as best we can. sometimes gently isn't the way, and brute force is necessary to do it. But can I say, as you take them off and you get about halfway around, the rest of them get a lot easier because the pressure's obviously been relieved on one side. Here we go. It's getting a little easier to take these off now. And la la la, this one, I can just lift the rest of them off. We can use our hook to release Roger at this end. Hopefully. Just use fingers and do it. I may look like I'm more fingers and thumbs, and probably I am, but this is very pretty, and it's a very pretty way to decorate your presents. And to be honest, once you get the hang of it and you're not trying to film it on a camera, it can be quite a quick thing to do. As I say, it's not been too long, has it, people? I've not kept you forever looking at this. Obviously that little peg just slots back in there. Someone decided it wanted to come out. Just slot it back in there. And there we have our little flower. Now what you can do is kind of separate the petals out however you would like them to go and fluff them up. If you do 3, you'll have an even more solid raffia flower to work with, but that's quite pretty, isn't it? It's quite a pretty little thing. And what I do is I don't get rid of these little dangly ends if I'm doing the present. Obviously I don't have it too dangly, but I'll leave those, and then that can go onto the present as well, and add a little decoration to hang down. You can, if you wanted to, put a little brooch back on here, and then the recipient of your beautifully wrapped gift will also have a little brooch or a decoration or whatever they want to pin onto something. Also, equally as nice, you could put it into your tree as a decoration, or even a tree topper if you wanted to. But that's a very simple and quick tutorial on how to make a little flower with a flower loom. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you will subscribe and come back and see me again at some point in time. I will probably be back later this week, the weekend maybe, or next week, round about Monday or Tuesday, with another little simple decoration that we can make. But for now, I'd like to say bye bye and see you soon. Have a great weekend.